Hello friends, I will be discussing about the topic Banking Ombudsman, its powers and functions in the lecture today. So, talking about the introduction part, the Banking Ombudsman scheme was introduced under Section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 by RBI. The scheme was introduced in the year 1995 and the present Ombudsman scheme was introduced in the year 2006. Banking Ombudsman scheme is a mechanism created by RBI to address the complaints raised by the banking customers or the bank customers. It is run by the RBI directly to ensure customer protection in the banking industry. Banking Ombudsman is a quasi-judicial authority functioning under the Banking Ombudsman Scheme 2006. So according to RBI, the scheme basically enables an expeditious and inexpensive forum to bank customers for resolution of complaints related to certain services which is being rendered by the banks. So, coming on to the next topic, which is about what is banking ombudsman and who is a banking ombudsman. The banking ombudsman is a senior official who is being appointed by the RBI. He has the responsibility to redress customer complaints against deficiency in certain banking services. All the scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, and scheduled primary cooperative banks are being covered under the scheme. The banking ombudsman can receive and consider any kind of complaint relating to number of deficiencies relating to the banking operations, which also includes the internet banking. At present, 15 ombudsmen were appointed by the RBI to settle complaints and they are being appointed in state capitals. RBI has mentioned a large number of service deficiencies by banks to customers where the customers can approach the ombudsman through a complaint. Now, who is a banking? What is a banking ombudsman basically? Banking Ombudsman Scheme enables an expeditious and inexpensive forum to the bank customers for resolution of complaints relating to certain services which is being rendered by the banks. The Banking Ombudsman Scheme, as you can see in the slide which I have shared with you all, that it was being introduced under Section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act, the which was being in 1949 by RBI with effect from 1995. So, in a brief, if I tell you about Section 35A about in a Banking Regulation Act, it basically vests power in the RBI to give the directions to the banks and can take actions for it to prevent the affairs of any banking companies being conducted in a manner detrimental to the interest of the depositors or in a manner prejudicial to the interest of a banking company. Coming on to its scheme, the Banking Ombudsman Scheme enables, as I have told you earlier, an expeditious and inexpensive forum to the bank customer for resolution of complaints relating to certain services which is being rendered by the banks. Now, coming on to the next topic, which is about need of banking ombudsman, the vision of it. We can also call it as a scope, basically. Scope of Banking Ombudsman Scheme. So, under the amended scheme, a customer would also be able to lodge a complaint against the bank for its non-adherence to RBI instructions with regard to mobile banking or electronic banking services in India. As per the amendment, the pecuniary jurisdiction of the Banking Ombudsman to pass an award has been increased from existing rupees 10 lakh to 20 lakh, and its composition is not exceeding rupees 1 lakh and can also be awarded by the Banking Ombudsman for loss of time. expenses which is being incurred, as also harassment and mental anguish suffered by the complainant. The RBI extends the scope of banking ombudsman scheme under which banks could not be penalized for mis-selling third party products like any insurance, mutual funds via mobile or electronic banking. So, if I talk about the slide which tells about the vision, it is basically to provide an inexpensive, transparent, and credible mechanism ensuring fair treatment of the common person utilizing banking services, to be a visible and credible system of dispute resolution mechanism for common persons who can utilize the banking services. After this is the goals of the banking ombudsman. It is basically to ensure redressals of grievances of the users of any banking services in an inexpensive, expeditious, and fair manners that will provide impetus to improved customer services in the banking sector on a continuous basis, to provide feedback or the suggestions to the Reserve Bank of India towards framing appropriate and timely guidelines to banks to improve the level of customer services and to strengthen their internal grievance redressal systems, to enhance the awareness of the banking ombudsman scheme, and lastly, to facilitate quick and fair, non discriminatory redressal of grievances through use of IT system, comprehensive and easy accessible database, and enhanced capabilities. After this, which are the banks which are being covered under the Banking Ombudsman Scheme of 2006? So, all the scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, and scheduled primary cooperative banks are covered under the scheme. The powers and the function, which is the major part which I wanted to discuss through this video, is the powers and functions of Ombudsman. It is the first very important function of ombudsman is to protect the rights and freedoms of citizens and needless. Secondly, the ombudsman shall have the power to supervise the general civil administration. On this point, the duty of ombudsman is closely connected with the public administration because the protection of freedom, execution of policies, and other fall within the jurisdiction of public administration, and whether they are properly being performed or not, that requires to be examined, and ombudsman does this job. A common experience is that people's rights and freedoms are not properly protected, and public administration does not always take care of it. It basically regards the ombudsman has a lot of duties to perform. In many states, the problem of common men are neglected, and the general administration does not allow rise to the occasion. Third point, the third functions we can say, in many states ombudsman supervises the general administration. It is also called as the general surveillance of the functioning of the government. In some countries, the ombudsman also enjoys enormous power. For example, in Sweden, the ombudsman has been empowered to investigate the cases of corruption, which can be in many forms, not only against the state officers but also against the judges of the higher courts. But the supervising power of ombudsman over the judges does not erode the independence of the judiciary. The judges are prosecuted or fined for corruption, negligence of duties, or delay in delivering judgment. An important function of ombudsman is to exercise of discriminatory powers. The discretionary power are really vast, and how to use these powers depend upon the person concerned. Discretionary power here includes basically corruption, negligence, inefficiency, misbehavior, etc. Sixth power is to receive complaints relating to the powers or the provisions of banking services, to consider such complaints and facilitate their satisfaction or settlement by agreement, by making a recommendation or award in accordance with this particular scheme. And last is the Banking Ombudsman Authority will include all complaints concerning deficiency in service such as non-payment, inordinate delay in the payment or collection of checks, drafts, bill, etc. Even non-acceptance without sufficient cause of small denominations, notes, tenders for any particular purpose, and for charging of commission in respect thereof. No, no such kind of non-issue of drafts to customers and others, non-adherence to prescribed working hours by branch, failure to honor guarantee, letter of credit commits by the banks is the function of banking ombudsmen. After this, I will last with a case study related to it, where we can set this example of banking ombudsman scheme. There is a case, it is just an illustration. Here, the complainant, when he tried to withdraw cash through ATM, there was power supply failure and he couldn't withdraw cash, whereas his account was being debited by rupees 500. The customer reported the matter to bank, but in spite of his request and telephonic talk, the bank did not take any action, and it replied that he might have withdrawn the cash as per the list of transactions available with them. On this, the decision which was being passed on pursual of the disputed transactions and cash summary as per ATM, the bank found that the cash was not dispensed for the disputed transactions and they reimbursed that particular amount. Concluding this particular topic of powers and functions, we find that the Ombudsman is a very important institution for the protection of democratic rights and functions and to free the general administration from the corruption and inefficiency. So, I will continue about its procedure, how one can file a particular case under the scheme, which I will continue in the next video, which I will share with you soon. Thank you so much.